Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to the Online Darts Live League. And here we are. It's Saturday night, which means only one thing. It's preview time and darts chat. And he's back refreshed. Chris Mason.
A few weeks off. I didn't know what to do with myself. It's been a while, hasn't it? 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, needed though.
Well, I did the match play in between for Talk Sport, so that kept me busy for 9 days. And 9 days in Blackpool takes some recovery.
It's a tough slog, isn't it? No one quite understands it. The darts are brilliant, but yeah, it's different. But what a week we've had here, phase 4, and it's delivered already.
Yeah, even straight from Monday morning on the B of Bang, Robert Thornton over the 3 days set a new Group A 180 record in 34, and he didn't just beat the record; he smashed it by 4. And then we had James Richardson equaling Gary Stone's daily record of 12 180s in one day. Yeah, it's been special, and what a debut from Nick Falwell. I mean, anybody who knows anything about darts knows about Nick. I lived in the West Midlands for 10 years, so me and him locked horns on many occasions. And I was still, I was still playing a lot of darts then, so it wasn't like I was, sort of done like now.
Real bubbly character as well.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, real nice guy. Get on well with him. Love his company. Played county with him for a few years as well. So, yeah, pleased to see him still producing. When he's on, he's dangerous, as we know from years gone by on the tour and obviously the Challenge Tour.
Before we dive into this week, going to go back, thoughts on Champions Week. Jim Williams, although he dodged a few bullets, when he was on, he was on.
Yeah, I'm a great believer. You need a bit of luck along the way. I mean, there's certain players over the years that don't, your MVGs and Phil Taylor back in the day, they didn't really rely on people missing against them. But, and of course, there's a modern crop now of, I suppose you could say Peter Wright and Gezi Price. They're just, although Peter Wright had a bit of luck the year he won the Worlds, but you just need a bit of luck. He got that bit of luck and used it as well as possible and went on to win it. I mean, Fallon was fabulous all week. I think we said when we last did this, which was 3 or 4 weeks ago, that her playing more darts, you just started to see her turn.
So the signs were just there, and then Champions Week, she turned it on.
Yeah, some big numbers.
104 and a couple of 90 pluses.
Yeah, loads in the 90s. And she was fabulous in that final. I mean, anybody else, I think she would have beat both. I think her average was nearly 95 and Jim's was just over 95. And after the slog of qualifying for the final, it's quarters to 1 o'clock in the morning.
She's still doing that.
But they both were.
Yeah.
And credit to him, very nice £7,000 sets him up for the year, takes a bit of pressure off. And hopefully we'll start to see the best of Jim over the next, maybe, main target, of course, is to get
top.
And he's top of that, isn't he? Because he had the week before it, he won a Challenge Tour and went top.
Can I get your thoughts on something to do with the Challenge Tour later on? Because there was a lot of unhappy players, to say the least. And when they came back in here, they were still moaning, but we'll come on to that later.
Yeah, well, the one I really felt sorry for was Conan, because he was, he's trying to reach the top. He'd also qualified for Champions Week.
Yeah.
He was still in that particular Challenge Tour on that day and got robbed of both. And if he misses out on a tour card, by a couple of £100, there's going to be some questions that need answering.
Yeah, another one as well on the channel, so we'll come back to them. Come and say hello in the chat room as always. It's rammed as always. James is in. Barney Army's in.
Barney Army.
Has James Richardson been eliminated? Sadly, yes.
Just I still shake my head that he's not in tonight's final, but it was just a bit of bad luck here and there. He didn't get a lot of rub all week. He was fabulous in parts. Where highest average of the week so far, 107.36 in that 4-0 win.
Yeah.
Over Anastasia. What an introduction she had to the live league this week.
Lot of love, Anastasia.
Yeah,
with love. She
was all right. She had some good moments in there.
A bit of rust as well.
It's very tough that she's not played any darts, the same as Dita. And you come into this cold against players that have all been playing Challenge Tour and some on the Pro Tour, and leagues have started and little knockouts have started. So, yeah, she's, listen, Rome won't build anything. It's going to take her a while to get up to speed. We've seen it from Fallon, who at the moment is, up there with the very best.
Thornton's going to smash it. We'll come on to that tonight in a minute. Are we going to see any darts? Darts are on later on, Ralph. We're just talking about it right now. But from 10 o'clock this evening, the live darts will be on this channel, mate. So we're just previewing everything that you're going to see tonight. But 10 p.m, the live action will start. Right, this seems a long time ago now, mate. But
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Group A was topped by the Thorn. Robert Thornton. That's the wrong table. Give me a second. Yeah, he did. Give me a second, guys, and we'll get the right one up. You know, casual. We make mistakes every now and then.
Of course we do. We're only human. But yeah, he was typically Robert Thornton. There was areas of it you can see why he doesn't have a tour card right now. But what a lot of people have got to remember, he's gone through a hard time personally with the illness of his wife and other things, and it's just been an absolute nightmare few years for him. But there has been signs this week for sure.
And if by magic, there we go, working on the fly.
There's been signs all week that, when we've seen glimpses of him before, unfortunately, he played and then had to go because he got an invite to go and play on the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is great for him. You only got to talk to him. He absolutely loves playing in this. It's ultra competitive. It's great practice, great preparation, if nothing else, for the season that lies ahead for all of these players. And listen, it's under the lights. It's like a TV studio in here. Well, it is a TV studio, and it's basically what it is. So, and the pressure that comes with it, and that sets them up well for everything else they play in. And of course, the opportunity to walk around with £7,000. Their sponsors are kept happy. The views we do on YouTube is literally head shaking. And listen, Sporty Stuff TV, I think, we're smashing out of the park right now.
Yeah, massively. Matt Dennett second, Robert Owen.
Yeah,
third.
Matty had some really good moments. Didn't qualify for the finals, missed out.
Come on to that in a minute, because he said something interesting on the way out last night as well. And fair play to him, but we'll come on to that in a minute.
But yeah, overall, it was a solid week. Felt a little bit for Sean Fisher. He's not quite at the races right now. Got no confidence at all. But there's still signs in there that
every now and then, when he popped the 160 out from
nowhere.
Exactly,
and he had 4 out of 4 on doubles in that match against Anastasia.
Yeah,
and all 4 in tops, including the 160. The guy can obviously play darts, and it's just a learning curve. You never stop learning in this game. Just when you think you've got it sussed, it comes back and bites you in the ass.
It's baby in darts.
Yeah,
is the thing. Some of the players would learn so much from coming in.
Even Robert Owen, he was relatively new to the game. He still had sort of 5 or 6 years on the main tour. Made the semi-final of the UK Open. And he's still got loads to learn.
Again, Ralph says really enjoying watching the women in the tournament. Absolutely.
Yeah, me and Barzy are keen to have a full week of women, and now that things are, fingers crossed, getting back to some kind of normality. Well, the mainstream media got something else to talk about now, haven't they? The Taliban and all that. So, hopefully
we can get something. But obviously, we need travel, because you'd have to have Makuri, which is over.
Yeah.
Eileen and people like that as well.
Yeah. Oh God.
So yeah.
There is. My suggestion was to do 10, and make it sort of 10 matches a session. I know that won't suit the powers that be, but I think 10 would be a good start, and I think that would work out well. And that wouldn't, that it's just for the time frame more than anything, and it just takes the slog out of it a little bit.
And then from there, Group C came in to play. Nick Falwell on debut, finishing second, but Stephen Burton really solid across the whole 2 days.
Yeah, and the final match that they played, Nick Falwell absolutely smashed Burton with 105 plus average. He beat him 4-1, but Burton again. I rate Burton highly. I think you can see why they haven't got tour cards, because
the highs are high, but the lows are low.
Their B games are just too erratic. But listen, when they're on it, they're as good as it gets, and that's why we do have these big averages crop up. Listen, you see plenty of averages in the 70s and 80s in Challenge Tour and even Pro Tour sometimes.
Massively, yeah.
And they've got a longer race. I know that does in some ways work an advantage, best of 7 over best of 11. But if you get off to an iffy start, you've got time to put it right. And of course, when they're only human. But James Richardson would be one that'd be disappointed not to have come out there. Lost a couple of games he definitely shouldn't have lost.
Silly games on Thursday cost him and left him a lot to do on Friday morning.
Left him too much. But again, listen, I mean, he'll be back and he'll be challenging for Champions League.
Too good a player not to.
Yeah, and again, his game's blossomed over the past few months that he's been involved.
Yeah, massive shout out to Richard North, making big changes to his game now.
He was in absolute ribbons about 3 or 4 months ago, wasn't he?
Yeah, and
his game was gone.
But just talking to him, the lifestyle changes that he's making to go with his game right now as well is really intriguing. And good on him for doing it. And
he looks fresh every time he
signs as well.
Yeah. Listen, he's a player. Listen, you don't get to the top 32 in the world in the PDC if you can't play. If you haven't got a game, you just don't. You can't fluke that many results. You know what I mean? It's just not possible. And yeah, he is getting there slowly but surely. Every time I see him play now, it's tiny little increments of improvement, and that's a good sign. If you sort of start to bottom out and then it just continues to sort of tumble in the wrong direction, that's when you know. But again, signs from him over a few days that he's going in the right direction, and I think he's one that he's very much like a lot of players, and especially the younger ones that like to go out to the local knockouts. I mean, look at Whitlock. He plays in anything.
He was in Surrey today, playing in Morton on Thames just because he wanted to.
Exactly. And they just love playing. Rob Cross is
there as well. Yeah. Diego Portella's there.
Imagine walking into that one as someone just thinking of a
little local open.
Yeah.
But world champion or.
But what a great experience.
Oh, completely.
I mean, when I first started, went to tournaments and all the big names were there. Some players went, "Oh, I can't believe these." I was like, "Hey, you want to draw it?" Yeah. I mean, what an opportunity to
hone your skills and hone your talents.
Absolutely.
Test yourself
and learn. So yeah, and I think Northie's suffered over the last 12 months with the lockdown, more than most, the same as Fallon, because they just their practice is playing.
I know we touched on it earlier as well, but Anastasia 3 wins from her 10 games, but overall her performances were better than what those results suggested.
Yeah, very much like Dita. Dita lost a lot of games that she should have won.
Yeah.
But again, the ladies' game is hard enough. Never mind when there actually isn't anything at all. The tournaments, the opportunities they have are few and far between. It's great that the ladies' series has been brought back. I know the disappointment of Germany being cancelled, but they're actually going to get all those events rolled into the events now in the UK. Listen, she's a great player. She's a great player. Listen, she's a 3-time champion of the world in when it was a good era for women's darts as well.
Tough score, Katrina at her best, and she, of course, Lorraine.
She had a baby.
Yeah. Things changed.
You know what I mean? Your priorities changed slightly. The opportunities for those weekends away to play and practice go. By the time she's probably put into bed, and the last thing on her mind is to spend 3 or 4
hours on the board. Yeah.
So, and of course the landscape's changed now. Lisa's playing so well. Fallon, Makuru. She got left behind a little bit during that period when she'd have a baby. But I've met no one more determined than Anastasia. I mean, she is a fierce competitor.
Massive.
And her pride won't allow her just to
fizzle off and not
fade away.
Massively.
No way.
And then Group B, this went down to the absolute wire late into the evening or early in the morning. But Group B, Rob Owen, won it at a little bit of a canter. But
he did the damage on Thursday.
Yeah, going perfect, 4 out of 4. That sets you up.
Very, very comfortable going into tomorrow night. And I come out with my favourite line last night. No one likes a dead rubber at 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And we didn't get one.
We didn't get one, no. Rob Collins.
Such a child.
Rob Collins second. Jamie Kennan stealing third.
Yeah, I mean,
Matty Dennett at about 1:15.
Yeah, he had work to do, didn't he? He had to win. That was the only result that worked. Matty's problem was he lost that match to Dita.
He had multiple match starts.
Yeah, and he wins that. He's home and hosed. He's into tonight's final, and he grafted so hard all week. One of the players that started on the Monday. So he's had 2 bites of the cherry. Monday, you can just sort of, it's one of those things. That was a real tough group. Thornton was on fire. But yeah, not to finish in the top three of that group will disappoint him. However, another player that's shown signs of improvement.
So as he went out the door last night, he put his head round to the production line, thanked everyone for the week, and he went, "I didn't deserve it. I'd been short all night."
Yeah,
which was a very honest assessment and very level-headed.
Yeah,
he can still assess his game.
He's a smart lad. When he first started, I was playing Super League in the same league as him, and we ended up practicing for a couple of years. He's an intelligent lad, a very, very talented player. For those that live in the West Midlands and play in the leagues and around the West Midlands, we rate him highly because we see him firsthand and what he's capable of, and he's far from the finished article. There's a lot more to come from him.
Jamie Kellin almost had the roof off of this place as well. Wired double 12 for the 9 dart. Yeah. And we spoke to him afterwards. We said, because as a player, when it leaves your fingers, if it's good or not. And he said, when it left my hand, I thought it was in.
Yeah, there was no, I can see the body and the release of the dart, and it was flawless. It looked perfect. And I purposely said nothing after the 218 because I didn't want to jinx it. I'm sat there and I watched the 60 going in, and then the 57. I went, "Oh, please go in there." And all but going in, it looked in.
Yeah, he said it when it left his fingers.
And when it comes out your hand, whether it's in or not, and sometimes you think that's in, and it just goes so close.
Clips a while. You heard the nick.
Yeah, it was that close. It was audible.
Yeah.
Fair play to him. And he's another player that a fabulous youth player. But he just never ever made that transition.
Fell out of love with it.
Yeah, fell out of love. And again, things change, work, whatever else. But this seems to have given him a new lease of life.
I remember the story that he told me. Obviously, I'm lucky enough, I've known Jamie a long time. That he was the very first generation 180 at Unicorn. And back then, there was no Dev Tour. There was nothing. It was Pro Tour. And it wasn't even, I don't think it was even capped then. It was just open. And he got the golden ticket. And he said at 15 years old, he said he was thrown on his board. He looked to his left, there was Phil Taylor. He looked to his right, there was Raymond van Barneveld. And in his head, he thought, what the hell am I doing here? Yeah. Because there wasn't that infrastructure for the youth as there is now.
No, and those kind of things can make or break you. And if people go, "Oh, well, no, it just wasn't good enough." How about Michael van Gerwen?
The development tour taught him to win. He says that. It made him win again.
He couldn't win a game. He couldn't win a game anywhere. And this is a kid that 16 and 17 was setting the world on fire.
Yeah.
Joined the PDC. And it just all went pear-shaped for him until they introduced the Dev Tour. And like you say, he will openly say that showed him that he could win again, and it gave him confidence. And the rest is history.
Same with Jamie. He's gone away, learned his craft, come back, and developed into a very tiny player.
Yeah, and although this environment is quite nerve-wracking initially, once you actually get used to it, when he then goes to tournaments, can be even worse because you're surrounded by people who've got eyes on you. You can feel them burning in the back of your head. All he's got to focus on about is that multicolored thing on the wall. That's it. And he will go away from this and play in tournaments and feel very, very comfortable.
Well, he's already said he wants a crack at one of those mad belts. He wants a crack at
one. And why not? There is one down here. There's Northie.
He wants to go at Northie.
Him and Northie. That would be an interesting challenge match. And they're both fairly popular in the area, so it would be well supported. It would be easy to promote.
Yeah, he wants to bash at Northie's title, which is great. So from there, we'll put this up. This is how they all got there from their relative groups to make up Saturday night final night. Robert Thornton, Robert Owen, Robert Collins. There's a lot of Roberts going on here. You're going to have your work cut out.
I did have a nightmare.
You're going to have your work cut out tonight.
Two Robs, especially my notes, because I couldn't remember whether it was Collins or Owen. And now I've got Thornton.
Jamie Kellin, Stephen Burton, and Nick Falwell make it all up from groups A, B, and C. So moving on to tonight, let us know in the comments. We're not ignoring you. We'll come to them all in a second, I promise you.
We will catch up.
But where do you think the title is going tonight? Let us know in those comments. So first of all, we'll put the two groups up. Group 1 and 2 that make up the final. Group 1 is Robert Thornton, Robert Collins, and Nick Falwell. Good luck there.
Although, Robert, I mean, the two best players of the week for me have been Robert Thornton and Robert Owen.
Yeah.
They just stand out a little bit more for me, a little bit more consistent. Robert Owen, when he's put under it, most players sort of fold like a cheap suit. He seems to get inspired by, or he enjoys chasing. You know what I mean? He's not a player that will shy away from finding a way to win it. We've seen it yesterday, didn't we? In that comeback match. It is fascinating. Rob Collins, that's horrible opening. Well, there's no easy opening game, is there?
No.
With all due respect, you think, well, maybe that he'd have preferred being in a group with Jamie Kelly, and it's just not worked out that way because, one of those two are going to get through. That's horrible.
Then Group 2, Robert Owen, Stephen Burton, and Jamie Kelly again. The bookies will have Jamie Kelly, the outsider, in that group.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, I've got a sneaky feeling he's done it before. He's stuck into Champions Week by being gritty.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I think I did that week. His main problem is that his B game is probably
the weakest.
One of the weakest. And sometimes you've just got to find a way to win. But what I have noticed from him, especially this week, that when he's had to really graft and grind, he has found a way.
Yeah.
And he'll use that as inspiration tonight. And he's going to have to. He's going to have it really, really tough tonight. They all are, to be honest, even that opening game. And then there's one match, which is, Rob Collins versus Nick Falwell. Anything could happen in that one potentially, especially as it's a little bit later. And Rob Collins tends to get off to a little bit of a slow start and then really
gets better as the night goes on. A bit like Webby did a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But you can't have a slow start in this race.
No, as we found out that night, unless Jim Williams did and got away with it.
Yeah.
And someone might, I'm pretty sure at some point tonight, whoever goes on to win it will come through a couple of sticky moments because it's such a competitive group tonight. It really is a competitive group. I'm not writing off Collins or Canning, but on performances alone. But as we know, darts is very much on the day. We can look at all the stats you want, but if Kelling turns up tonight, who produced last night on a couple of occasions
against Dito,
right at the top draw, then he could upset the apple cart. Every player in this, including Rob Collins, has the ability to upset the apple cart tonight because if they're on their own game and whoever they play is just off, they win.
Yeah, I completely agree. Really, really fascinating field. But your famous 20 pence, where would you be putting it?
I have to go. For me, it's Thornton or Owen. But I wouldn't be shocked if Falwell or Burton end up, getting through. It is that tight. But gun to my head, I have to just go with Thornton, just because he's got so much experience of winning. And he's had 2 days off, which will suit him perfectly.
The other subplot to all this is everyone wants to be champion here this evening. However, the bigger picture, finish in that top 3, because that gets you into Champions Week.
Yeah, I was talking. I walked back last night with Rob Owen, and I was saying, well, to be honest, if you win it, you go in on the Monday morning, right?
Yeah.
So you don't get through that Monday morning. You've got to come back Thursday. By the time, say, then you eventually get through in Champions Week to that final, you could have shot your bolt already. You could have nothing left in the locker. Me personally, I'd want to do enough to qualify for the Thursday and Friday night, come in, bang, bang, 3 go through in that group, and then I'm fresher for the final.
Yeah, well, Waymoren gave up his opportunity because he couldn't, for work reasons, because he was meant to play the whole week. And the reason it's done is it's to give the winners and the 2 best runners-up
the most opportunities
to qualify for the finals, because they deserve that from their performances. But like you say, playing it tactically, maybe it is a little bit better just to do the Thursday.
Yeah, I spoke to Robert Owen, and he was like, no, I love playing all week. He said, I played for 7 days. And I suppose when you're young and you're fresh and you're keen, you want to play every day. They absolutely love it. They would play twice a day if you could.
When you came with Vanessa Robert Thorne and those 2 days off, and Martin Adams, we saw it when he had 2 days off.
Absolutely.
Came back on the Saturday and looked $1 million.
Yeah, well, you've had your practice. You just sort of tick over back at the hotel room. They all bring these
around the door thing. Yeah, half hour here, half hour there,
boards,
just to keep the arm going.
They just tick over. They'll have known over the opening 3 days the areas that they weren't happy with, and they get the opportunity then to put that right.
Right, let's jump back in to here. Always Elvis says, thanks for the darts. Are we going to think we can get some of the European names in? Yes, look, there are plans to get some of the European boys in, but we're just waiting for these travel corridors. Obviously, if you're double jab now, you don't have to quarantine and things like that, which is great for us. So now things are opening up, those travel corridors. Absolutely, we are looking to get some of the European ones in.
You know why Anna and Dieter performed better than at the Challenge Tour? Well, because the Challenge Tour was the first event back after 19 months of no darts.
Yeah, they had absolutely no darts, mate, and they came back a little bit warm, a little bit more prep, and getting here. We'll come on to all the other darts in a minute, mate. What's a good shot, to be fair?
Yeah, I like
that.
Yeah, a bit of a Ryder Cup type thing with UK against Europe instead of UK and Europe against America.
Bit of grandstand feel.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
like that. Good shout, Saldor. I like that. Bernie's your gym.
Yeah. I was anyway. He's not. He might look big, but he's not very big. He's only a little fella.
Soft tip central evening, gents.
Geraldine Price a fluke.
Better than. Yeah, all right.
I don't know where that's come from. Chocolate.
Yeah. Thanks. Chocolate's going to win. Would never back against Thornton. Yeah. Look.
Listen,
even in his
three-time major winner, you can't.
I was about to say, even in his prime, people put him in a corner. He was swinging for the hill 9 times out of 10.
Hey,
he'd find the knockout punch.
Look who we beat in the finals as well.
Yeah. Max says Thornton. Big favourite. I wouldn't say big, but I'd certainly say favourite.
Marginal. I've not actually looked at the prices, but I presume he is favourite. I don't know why, but I'd like to see Burton do it later. Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah, 100%. Missy is in as always.
I am Missy.
Standard procedure. Missy is in. This is the bit that Mace likes because you haven't seen this yet, have you?
No.
Right, we are going to release.
Yes.
Release the lineup for next week. We've got one debutant.
This is true. I purposely do not ask or find out who's in. Just so it's a nice surprise for me.
One debutant next week, but again, plenty more debutants coming up. I've seen the lineups for weeks coming on. There are plenty more debutants to come, but one this week. But this is tough. Whoever comes through this, kudos. Group A: Jared Cole, Scott Marsh, Mike Warburton, Darren Beveridge, Nathan Gervin, who I haven't got rid of the plus. That's my fault. And Richie Burnett. So I copy and paste it from a spreadsheet.
Oh my goodness.
Group C: Lee Cox, Wes Newton, and the debutant Connor Scott, who played really well on the Challenge Tour. Group B: Paul Hogan, Jason Askew, and Justin Smith.
Nice to see Justin Smith. We'll start from Group B, I suppose. Nice to see Justin Smith back in it. I certainly enjoyed watching him play while we were doing it at home. Another talented young Welshman.
Yeah.
Jason Askew. He's another player that just seemed to have lost his way, didn't he, towards the end of the home tour thing we did. So it'd be good to see him back refreshed and ready to go. And in this environment, I think he'll produce. Paul Hogan's always good value for money, great player.
Lee Cox has impressed me every time he's been here.
Yeah.
Something about him that, although he's not got through, he's always in and around it and producing good moments.
And another player that's just going to benefit massively from playing in this environment.
The Warrior, Wes Newton's back as well.
Yeah. And he showed some good signs when he's played. He's sort of shown moments of brilliance. And
obviously young Connor that we've spoken about. For that Group A: Jared Cole, Scott Marsh, Mike Warburton, Darren Beveridge, Nathan Kirkman, and Richard.
Well, Jared Cole recently won the
Mad Global title, beating Wayne Warren.
Scott
Marsh, multiple finals here, just knows how to win.
Yeah.
Mike Warburton, again, played on the Pro Tour recently, played here. His A game's as good as anyone's, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And Darren Beveridge, another player that his throw is just Rolls Royce.
And recently won a Challenge Tour.
Yes, and recently he won the opening day of Challenge Tour.
Nathan Gervin, again, a young man that is getting back to somewhere near his best. Still a baby. And of course, the mad. But that
Richie, I can see Richie having an amazing week. He obviously played a week back, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he's had a week off. Would have done him good, a little bit of normality, because he did spend a lot of time there, didn't he?
Well, he comes straight from the Challenge Tour here.
Yeah. And he did look a little bit jaded towards the back end of the week. So, yeah, Richie will be looking to try and qualify as soon as possible for Champions Week. And, well, he's former winner, isn't he?
Oh, massively.
Our first one.
First one. And he won the special that we launched with as well.
Yes.
But like you say, Jared Cole's the one for me. The kid's so level-headed and always wants to learn. He's always in the practice room picking people's brains. And
yeah, I always have a good talk with him, and like I say, he's constantly looking for advice. And listen, it's how it should be. If you're around players that have got more experience, even if you're just starting out in a pub league and there's guys that have played county, every stage of this game or your career in the sport is just different. Everything is different. Playing in the back room of a pub is different to playing Super League, and Super League playing on county stages is completely if they ever stop fighting already.
I was going to say the in-house fighting there, it's just
it's good. They just have to learn. No, I mean, listen, they had the opportunity to completely revamp it, and it's gone back to the same thing: 12 men, 6 women, 36 players needed over a weekend plus reserves. That doesn't exist anymore. That apart from probably the top 5% of county teams, every month same thing. You might as well put the coach driver in play, because they just haven't got the players and they haven't got the quality. They have not learned over the years. They're now demanding. I played Super League the other week. I pay a tenner for the privilege. I was like, what? No, man, I got to play Super League. I've never done like a tenner. Already, Glamorgan have said, they're using these mission boards, which they look pretty. They're not as bad as what I expected. They're very hard, but if you've got a soft throw, you're going to end up getting a bad back. You're going to be picking them out of the floor because they're really hard. I mean, it's great in one way because they're hard wearing. But of course, the county boards have been sponsored for years by Wimmel and Red Dragon. That's now, which is that's caused the fractions. You know what I mean? Until they all sit down and it's the same people running it. You know what I mean? It's the same people involved, and they've not. Well, there's a reason for that, and yet already infighting and they're squabbling, and I'm not playing this and I'm not playing that. Like, they need to find a way to monetize it. It shouldn't be down to the players to play. You know what I mean? It costs enough to play anyway. Super League, whether you've got to get a cab there or pay for a minibus, and then you've got your beer, and then when you do play county, you've got to pay for that as well. Those people aren't interested in that anymore. They'd rather go to a tournament with the opportunity of winning 300 quid.
400 quid, yeah.
And put their money there. And until they realise that and actually move on, it will always be garbage. And that's what it is.
Yeah. Seniors, the qualifier is in November. The actual World Championship, February. So, well, Missy, we've both gone for Thornton.
Yeah, just.
Yeah.
I'm between Thornton and Robert Owen.
Yeah. Nice to see Jared Cole back in. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like watching Jared. I'm enjoying watching the evolution of him. Keenan Kay, who won on the Challenge Tour today.
Dev Tour yesterday.
The Dev Tour yesterday. He's another one that although I sort of knew about him from other things, first really sort of studied his game on the Online Darts Live League, and another player I've watched sort of the evolution of their game and watch them learn and progress. And yeah,
I'm not going to lie. When I first saw him was when we were doing it from home.
Yeah,
and that very first week, I was unsure. I'm not going to put my hands up. I thought, he's maybe a little bit out of his depth here.
Typical fast player though. He's a ratchet. But he's another baby.
That first week, after that, he grew, and he's developing and maturing into a damn good player, as we've seen in this very room.
His A game is mustard.
Oh, yeah.
His A game is good. You know what I mean? But he's not out of his depth when he's playing at his top level, and that's all you can ask for. The rest of it just comes through experience and practice and prep and just learning your trade.
Yeah, a couple of people asking as well on social media. Don't worry, everyone. The Wolf is returning in the next few weeks. Don't worry about that. I think he just wanted to go off on holiday or whatever he's done. But the Wolf will be back. Absolutely devastated that he didn't qualify for Champions Week. So watch out, everyone, this time around. But Martin Adams will return as always.
Chris, what else did you give me on Rob Collins losing a semi-final place tonight by more than
one opponent hitting the same three-figure? Yeah, last time he was in finals night, he had three 1-6-1s hit against him in the same night.
Yeah, James Richardson.
James Richardson hit 2, and there was
there was one other.
One other, yeah. I felt for that night. Especially the Richardson one, because he hit one in leg 1 and then one to win it. Yeah.
Although it's still not quite as bad as James Richardson doing a 9 against his son in the side of leg.
Have that.
Oh dear.
Harsh learning. That's cool.
Yeah. He actually had a good run in the opening development tour, reaching the semi-final. So well done to Josh. Best match tonight? Could be any one of them. To be fair, they're all really, really good. Each one has the potential to be very, very good. I'm having a
nightcap while listening to you
commentating tonight. I can't wait. I enjoy it. Well, if anything, I will put this sleep.
Yeah. No, I can't wait for that. There's always a buzz around or finals night in there because
now there's so much on it.
Well, this is the thing.
The opportunity to qualify for Champions Week. So the winner, the runner-up, then we have the 2 losing semi-finalists play off for the final place, and that's it. You know what I mean? You get your chance, you miss out on it, you miss out on the opportunity, and this time round it's $7,000, isn't it? The winner.
I think so, yeah.
And I'm hearing that it's only going to go up.
I think this is only going one way, and that's.
I wonder how long before the BBC get pissy with us. I don't know, it can't be far away.
Can't be.
We're going to start about in a few pages. But yeah, the prize money is just going to continue to grow, and I've noticed more and more now the amount of people getting hold of me. How can I get in it? How can I get in it? You know, players.
Like before, this was Mickey Mouse, wasn't it? Before?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, God help you, the ones who slagged it off online and on social media, because you won't be getting a phone call. You reap what you sow, I'm afraid. I'm getting a lot of people now saying, how do I get involved? How do I get involved? Don't forget, there is the opportunity to play in the Mad Qualifier. You don't even have to leave your mum's box room, because most of you that give it that online, that's where you live.
And to be fair though, these Mad Qualifiers, 2 in particular that have been sensational, was Conor Hennigan and Chris Gilliland. Those 2, not gonna lie, I knew nothing about the pair of them when they got here, but they can play.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's loads of players out there that now have the opportunity to qualify before they've, like I said before, you played league and then Super League, then county, then try to get picked for England, then started travelling, doing tournaments, then eventually, back then, not that there was many BDO events to qualify for, but you eventually started doing that, then doing some exhibitions. Now they got the opportunity to go from their bedroom straight on the TV.
Yeah, I'm just going to go and give this a go.
And why not give it a go? If you're talented enough, you fancy it, what's the worst thing can happen? You don't qualify. And then you can have another go and another go, because the next batch of qualifiers will be played actually in venues. I don't quite know logistically how they're going to do it. Maybe
regions.
8 regions, and then the 8 winners play off for 2 spots or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know, but I like the progression of the way that's going.
Because I think, listen, this is all about the second tier. The top end of the game. Those boys are all sorted out. They've got Pro Tours, Euro Tours, TV tournaments to play in. Where if you're on that challenge tour, you're just stepping up from, the Dev Tour, or you're just a Super League and a county player, or just a guy that likes playing tournaments. There's options for you to make a name for yourself. And listen, you qualify for this and win Champions League, put $7,000 or $8,000, whatever it's going to be in a matter of months. You've then got enough money to consider about doing one of the tours, whether it be the Mad Tour, whether it be the WDF Tour. You've then got options.
Yeah, that pays your hotels for these tournaments. You haven't got to worry about it.
Exactly. Takes the pressure
prize
off.
money to
It's
cover
a bit
it.
like Jim Williams winning this. You know what I mean? That money to him will have taken a huge bit of pressure off, and certainly going into the challenge tours now, he's not going to be chasing a pound note for a couple of months.
Yeah. Your question there says, hey, when do they start? 10 o'clock this evening, my friend. We're just previewing all the action now, but 10 o'clock live on Sporty Stuff TV and our YouTube channel for you as well. Charlie is in as well. Happy birthday for yesterday, mate.
Yeah, happy birthday, Charlie.
Hope you had a good day.
That's a good one. Does Wayne Jones still have a talk? Yeah, just about, but I don't.
He has one right now. Come December, unlikely.
He will be all over this. Trust me, he would love this. This is right up Wayne Jones's alley, something like this. And again, what I think this will do for Thornton would do for someone like Wayne Jones.
Give him that confidence, then go when you talk hard back. Yeah. Wayne has one at the moment, but I think it's hanging by an absolute thread, if not already snapped.
Yeah, he's another player that loves going out playing darts 2, 3, 4 nights a week, little local tournaments. Without that, I mean, me and his best pal built his dart room at the back of his house when I was, well, how long ago it was, I was still playing and still working. And it is stunning, but it's when you've got nothing to play for, it's hard to motivate. You know, I decorated last year pretty much probably the same as everybody else in the country.
Oh yeah,
the dartboards never went back up.
Yeah, I haven't got room for dartboard in the flat. Well, I've got it around the bathroom door, but it's not idea. I'll take the light up to the wall to get that.
My boards are still up in the loft, so that's where they're going to stay for a while, I think.
Interesting one that came out from a challenge tour. There was a lot of unhappy players that the PDC for the rest of the year to top up the Pro Tour, keeping from the Q School Order of Merit.
Why?
We don't know, but there was a lot of unhappy players that.
Well, because then there's no reward then for supporting the tour.
Completely, literally.
And what happened can happen in as we've seen over the years at Q School, it can be very hit and miss.
But you're taking form from 9 months ago.
Yeah, that is totally irrelevant now to the players who are grafting away on that tour. Well, I know you've got I've got a good relationship with Matt Ford, and I know you.
When next time I sit down with him, I will ask the question.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see why. You know what I mean? Listen, I don't. It's here and there to us. We do obviously we care about the players and we want to see the best players in the events. But to go on something that happened 9 months ago when they've actually got a system now.
Well, there's been a challenge tour in the UK. There's been one in Europe, so they're never playing.
Yeah, for the Euro stuff as well. It's ideal. I don't. Yeah, that's a confusing one.
Well, it's funny in the practice room because 99% of them were raging. Chaz Barstow was over the moon.
Yeah, right. Well, there's a couple that really missed out by the finest.
Yeah, well, that means Chaz is going to be everything now because you know that Christo Reyes, Wesley Harms, and all that aren't going to play.
There's a massive group that
they just don't turn up.
Yeah,
So I mean, everything.
My idea with that, rather than all this nonsense of being on people on standby, actually, it wouldn't take a lot for the PDC to contact and say, listen, do you have any intention at all of using your card? If you're not, we're going to hand it down to the ones that just missed out. And then that gives other players opportunities using the ranking system for them when there is last minute.
I wouldn't even ask him. I'd think if you haven't played X amount, percentage-wise, whatever it is, we're taking it off you.
Yeah, I agree because we've had it over the years where people have denied others from having tour cards who are desperate to play. They get one and then never bother utilising it, and it's unfair. And that listen, the PDC, the one thing they are, especially Matt Port, is proactive. Yeah. If there's a loophole or if there's a flaw, they tend to be all over it straight away, as we've seen with the testing. My goodness, I wouldn't have wanted to be a fly on the wall there, that's for sure.
I would like to.
It's the financial implications and what it costs, and listen, it's reputation, and listen, Matt runs a tight ship.
Yeah,
everything is by the book, on the ball, no bullshit. It is what it is, and it's just no point in doing what that young man done. And
he's broke the law as well.
Yeah,
forget the dark side of it.
Without being like overly dramatic, whether people agree with it or not, someone takes it home to their, someone who's got an unwell wife or unwell parent, or vulnerable. As far as they're concerned, They've been tested. They're
everyone in there should.
So that gives them confidence to go and see nanny or whatever, or their sick mum or sick dad or whatever. And yeah, it's just stupid more than anything. It's just stupid, isn't it? And
well, you saw the dev tour this week. That's been rectified because the players have to do lateral flows every day.
Yeah. Again, no, it's cost. It's cost and it's an inconvenience. Had that not happened, they're reaching a stage now where they can start phasing out. The majority of people have been double jabbed if they want to. If they don't want to, that's up to them. The case numbers are sort of starting to slide. And now, because of one idiot, they're going to have to go through even tighter and stricter regimes at darts, which is a pain in the ass for everybody.
Yeah. One here says, no, not that one. Where was it? That one. Great to see some of the players of the world seniors getting some match practice. I'm sure that's going to happen. Completely. We'll see 3 or 4 of them, I reckon, coming in.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. I mean, a lot of them won't have played under the lights for a long time or in any kind of competitive environment. So they will be keen to have some proper practice.
Completely.
Chris, what's your favourite memory of the Viking? Don't think he's been on commentary since he passed away. No, many really. Well, actually, there's a couple we could do a special about. But I played him in the England Open just prior to qualifying for the Worlds, and I beat him 3-0 or 3-1, and I qualified for my Worlds, my debut. And I drew Andy, and I was doing an interview and didn't realise he was sat directly behind me. And they were asking me how I was feeling. I said, I'm really confident. I played him, a month or so ago. I beat him easy. I don't think I'll have any problem at all. Total asshole, totally disrespectful. And I didn't realise Andy was sat behind me. So anyway, played him on the Lakeside stage. I won one leg. I took 160 out. Only leg I won. Got absolutely stuffed. And absolute gent, could have sort of rubbed my nose in it. Anyway, I come off line. You could tell I was disappointed. Obviously, I was devastated with the way I played. And he brought me a beer over, sat down with me, and he said, "One lesson you learn: do not think playing on the floor is the same as playing on the stage." He went, "I was sat behind you when you were doing your interview." I was like, "Oh." No. But he was an absolute gent about it. And one of my favourite games I ever played was a couple of years after that, and I played him at Lakeside. And we had an absolute great game. He was like, he played darts like one of the elite people would play chess. It was methodical. It was thought. Couldn't rattle him. You couldn't get under his skin. You really just had to put him away. And there was one moment in the match. He won 140. It was for a set. He had treble 20. He caught the corner double 15 and bust. I hit a big score to lead a 2-darter. He hit a ton to be top, so I took it out, won the set, and ended up winning the match 5-6-3. But yeah, always a gentleman. I shared the stage with him years later in exhibitions and travelled with him. I did a tour of Northern Holland with him. It was absolutely freezing, and I had a little sports car. And he was at his biggest then, and I turned up to pick him up, and he went, "What are you doing?" And we had Steve West with us. And and it was only a 2-door thing, and we had to squeeze Andy into the car. It was hilarious, but we had the best time. It was people go when someone passes away, and it was desperately sad, but they always sort of say, "Oh yeah, he was a great guy" and all that, but he genuinely just was one of the best, an absolute gentleman. I don't know anybody who had a bad word to say about him. He was class. And a wonderful dart player. Could have achieved so much more if he would have looked after himself. What people don't realise, he was tipped to go on and be a great footballer. I think his nickname was the Whippet.
Yeah.
He was tiny.
Don't often put stuff up here to do with this, but we're going to put this one because it's topical. Yeah, Bobby did say in the interview that I did with him at the fishing that the more he...
Yeah, he was actually quite a nervous character. You'd never see him drunk, though. That was the thing.
No.
That day I played him at Lakeside, I was there about 3 hours before the game. He's walked in about 2 hours before. and he must have got through about 20 bottles of pills. And one thing there was two things that amazed me, right? And I was fairly naive. One, that he drank 20 bottles of pills and had not had a practice. And two, he'd not had a piss. And I was like, what's going on here? And he'd not had a throw. Not had a throw, right? And then about 20 minutes before we were due to go on, I think it was Sam Hawkins, no one sadly passed away, came over and said, right, Andy, 15 minutes. So he carried on drinking pills. He probably had another 4 or 5 bottles of pills. Ordered a large brandy, took his darts out, had one piss, drunk the brandy, 15 minutes practice, and then walked on stage and stuff. Unbelievable. But you'd never see him drunk. I mean, he was a big guy, and that's how he could handle his drink. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, you know, we've seen some players go up there absolutely trolleyed, and you can tell they're trolleyed. With Andy, I mean, another funny story, and he's probably people who follow darts probably may know it, and it's quite sad. When I spoke to Andy about it for the first time, we were doing a Q&A, like an after dinner thing, like an exhibition type thing, and someone asked him about the World Championships, and he has absolutely no memory of it.
Doesn't remember it.
Don't remember like the whole week.
Yeah.
Never mind the matches. Just the whole 9 days were just a blur. And sadly, listen, he had a drink problem, and that's it. And you know, people have vices and have issues, and you know what you know, you don't criticise, you support, and that's what everybody tried to do with him. And fair play to him, he did give it all up, lost all that weight, but he then replaced things with eating, and then ill health because of the damage he'd done to his body over the years, and he was just never ever really well again, which was quite sad because he could have carried on drinking at the time. Yeah. He could have just sort of said, well, it is what it is. But yeah, bless him, he tried his socks off.
I think I know what you're going to say to this one, but we'll put it up. Women are different, so should they play from a different rank? Oki, no, because Fallon and Lisa have showed that
how are they different?
That Fallon and Lisa have showed that they can actually bang in and smash everything from 7'9.25".
Yeah, there's no physicality to darts. It's not like weightlifting or running, where going through puberty and the effects of testosterone make a man's bones stronger and thicker, and they're heavier, and they create more muscle, etc., etc. In darts, what you got to remember is women weren't even allowed in where darts was played 40 years ago. You know, darts was played predominantly in working men's clubs, and women weren't allowed to play. So, in the evolution of just life, they're 50 years behind men in terms of the throw-in.
And this is what I say to everyone when they say, "Oh, there shouldn't be a separate ladies tour." They should. I said, long term, they will play together, because what the development tour and the JDC are doing is from that age they're all playing as one. But there needs that bridger in between.
Because you know, it's like that stupid thing in the Olympics where that fella was weightlifting against women. What are you going to do? Wipe women's sport out by saying you've got to compete? You know, maybe there's, you know, like I said, they're 50 years behind.
Yeah.
You look at all the old footage. One of the few females you'll see throwing a dart from years and years ago was the Queen.
Yeah.
And that's it. You don't, you know, the first. You know, the first real women dart players you think about, you know, it was Linda Batten and Maureen Flowers, and you know, the women of that era, Mandy Solomons. But again, there was nothing. There was no ranking system for them.
No.
There was nothing. But there was no availability. There, like I said, it wasn't that long ago. Women weren't allowed in working men's clubs where darts was played.
Yeah.
You know, think of the News of the World and the CIU and all that. They were all in them type of places where women couldn't go. So, I mean, eventually, I mean, they're not. Listen, we've seen from Fallon when the darts she produced at the World Championships a couple of years ago, and you know, we've seen Lisa at the UK averaging over 100. They've got it in their locker.
Yeah.
They you know, it's all about playing catch up. And when they do, listen, there is now a women's series. There's no women's tour in the PDC. It'd be good enough. It's not the PDC Men's Pro Tour. It's the Pro Tour. Hence, Lisa got a tour card and she plays on.
And hence, they're using the ladies series to help bridge that gap and get more playing.
Exactly. We need more. You know, the women have got to respond and support and attend these events. You know, there's more. I looked at I looked at the prize money dealer the other day for 215 titles. And the prize money is 60-odd thousand, and that's scandalous. So now they got the opportunity to earn some proper dough, some real money, more money than has ever been available in women's darts outside of the World Championships.
Yeah.
And in turn, they've got to pay the PDC back by supporting it.
I think they will now it's over here. I understand why the numbers were low in Germany because of testing, and if you aren't double jabbed, you still got a quarantine for 10 days.
The cost involved.
So I understand why
and potentially then throw in a test over there and then having the quarantine in Germany for 10 days.
Yeah, I get why the numbers were low in Germany, but now they're all over here. I think they'll be decent numbers.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be around about 100. But
yeah,
it shows you how far behind it is because look how many people enter the challenge tour. It's staggering.
Johnny, I disagree that the interest isn't there. We see the analytics behind it, and the interest in ladies darts is there. The reason that the numbers were low in Germany was because everything else that was connected to it, not to do with darts, the testing, the 10 days. If you
hotel costs,
the 10 days. If you're not double jabbed, you had to quarantine for 10 days coming back because of the amber-list country. So there was more to it than that.
Well, if you failed a test over there, you had to quarantine
over there until you were negative.
Yeah,
exactly. So there was a lot of reasons for that, but believe me, the interest is there.
We know just from when Anna plays, Dita plays, Fallon plays.
The spikes are huge.
Yeah.
When the ladies play.
Yeah.
And we can see that in the numbers.
Exactly.
And
we're not making them up.
No, and Fallon in particular, when she plays, I'm telling you, they go through the roof. And I thought, is it a fluke? So we looked at it when Anastasia played in the Thursday and Friday mornings, and again, every time Anna played, numbers spiked.
Yeah.
So the interest is there in the ladies' game. It is unreal. It's just coming up to 8 o'clock, so we're going to start to round this up because Mason's got prep to do instead of a big night.
And I've got a big Chinese to eat.
Yes.
My treat for the week.
Yeah, we got some prep to do as well. But remember, everything live from 10 p.m. this evening on our YouTube channel and Sporty Stuff TV. It's going to be absolutely class. Thank you for joining us for the preview. I've been Phil Bars. This has been Chris Mason. We have been Online Dart, and we will see you 10 p.m. for all the action.